Hello, and welcome to the Designing with Love podcast. I am your host, Jackie Pellegrin, where my goal is to bring you information, tips, and tricks as an instructional designer. Hello, GCU students, alumni, and fellow educators. Welcome to episode 55 of the Designing with Love podcast. Today, we're diving into a foundational instructional design model that's stood the test of time. The Dick and Carey Systems Approach Model. If you're a new instructional designer or just starting to explore the field, this episode is especially for you. We're going to unpack what the Dick and Carey model is, why it matters, and how you can begin to apply it in your own projects. First things first, what is the Dick and Carey model? Developed in 1978 by Walter Dick and Lou Carey, this model views instructional design as a system of interrelated components, rather than a linear process. Think of it like a recipe. Every ingredient impacts the final dish, and adjusting one part affects the rest. Unlike other models that may focus solely on instructional delivery, Dick and Carey emphasize the importance of analyzing, designing, developing, and evaluating instruction as a systematic, data-informed way. All right, so let's walk through the 8 core principles of the model that you can apply to your projects. Principle number 1, systematic design. When you start creating engaging lessons, design is the first thing that should come to mind. The Dick and Carey model urges you to think systematically at this step, which means you must ensure each element has a purpose and contributes to the overall learning experience. Principle number 2, analyze learner characteristics. Thoroughly research and analyze your learner's characteristics to focus every element on them. Some ways to do this is to consider learner profiles by conducting surveys where you can ask learners about their preferences and current knowledge. Principle number 3, define instructional objectives. Effective and measurable objectives are what guide your instructional design process, showing instructors, designers, and learners what they should aim to achieve. Principle number 4, organize instructional content. Here, you need to create a seamless flow with lessons that are logically connected. This ensures you're not confusing your learners, but guiding them to build a strong foundation of knowledge and skills. Principle number 5, select instructional strategies. Choose the strategy that will help you execute your plan. This can take account of different factors such as instructional theories and learning models, which will help you design and deliver the content in a way that resonates with your learners. Principle number 6, development and implementation. This is where you create the main learning content by taking the instructional strategy and developing the materials that will help learners achieve the performance objectives. Principle number 7, conduct formative evaluation. After creating the learning materials, it's important to make sure it hits the mark before implementing it. This is where evaluation tests come in. Make sure to test your instruction with a small group of learners and gather feedback to make improvements. And finally, principle number 8, summative evaluation. Here, you conduct post-implementation evaluation of the effectiveness of the learning experience. This stage is all about collecting and analyzing data to figure out how well your program works. It's important to note that each principle is intentional and feeds into the next, ensuring the final product is effective, learner-centered, and grounded in data. So, why should beginner instructional designers learn the Dick and Carey model? Because it offers structure. When you're new to this field, having a clear process can be incredibly helpful. This model encourages thoughtful planning, continual feedback, and strong alignment between goals, instruction, and assessment. It also reflects real-world project workflows, especially in academic or corporate environments where data and outcomes matter. Now let's talk about how to actually use this model in practice, especially if it is your first time. Tip number 1, don't skip the front-end analysis. It might be tempting to jump straight into designing materials, but resist that urge. Spend quality time on steps number 1 through 3. Understanding the learning goals, the skills involved, and the learners themselves lays the groundwork for everything that follows. Tip number 2, keep your objectives specific and measurable. When you get to step number 4, writing performance objectives, make sure they're clear and actionable. Use verbs like describe, analyze, demonstrate, or apply. Think about what success looks like in real life. Tip number 3, align everything. Make sure your objectives, assessments, and learning strategies all align. This consistency ensures that you're teaching and testing the right things. Tip number 4, start small with formative evaluation. When you get to step number 8, formative evaluation, test your course or materials with a small group of users. Ask for honest feedback and be ready to make changes. It's much better to iterate early than to wait for a full rollout and realize something isn't working. Believe me, this will save you a lot of time and headaches. Tip number 5, use templates and tools. If you're feeling overwhelmed, use templates for objectives, assessments, and strategies. Tools like Google Docs, Miro, or Trello can help you organize each stage of the model. Remember, you don't need fancy software to design great learning. Tip number 6, be flexible, not rigid. Although this is a systems model, real projects are rarely neat and tidy. Make sure to use Dick and Carey as your guide, not your cage. You can adapt as needed based on time, resources, or project constraints. All right, so now I will share an example in action. Let's say you've been asked to design a training for new customer service representatives at a tech company. Using Dick and Carey, you could do the following. Number 1, start by identifying the end goal. Maybe it's handle customer support calls with 90% accuracy. Number 2, break down the skills like using the CRM, responding to FAQs, and de-escalating angry customers. Number 3, analyze who your learners are. Perhaps they are recent graduates with little tech experience. Number 4, write performance objectives like, given a customer inquiry, the learner will respond using company-approved language with no more than one error. Number 5, develop assessments using a blended strategy. Create the materials, and then test it with a pilot group before rolling it out to the whole team. As you can probably gather, each step is like a checkpoint that ensures your design is thoughtful and effective. I hope you have found this information about how to use the Dick and Carey model in your designs helpful, especially if you're new to the field. As a recap, we covered what the Dick and Carey model is, the 9 components of the model, why it's great for novice instructional designers, tips for first-time users, and an example in action. If this episode helped you to understand the Dick and Carey model better, I would love for you to share it with a fellow designer or leave a review where you're listening. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. I would also encourage you to check out the interactive resource that contains the key details covered in this episode by visiting the show notes. I have also included a link to an article from the e-learning industry that provides an in-depth analysis of the model. As I conclude this episode, I would like to share an inspiring quote from Orison Swett Marden, an American author who wrote about topics like motivation and character. A good system shortens the road to the goal. The Dick and Carey model helps you shorten that road, not by skipping steps, but by giving you the roadmap to get there with intention and success. Thank you for taking some time to listen to this podcast episode today. Your support means the world to me. If you'd like to help keep the podcast going, you can share it with a friend or colleague, leave a heartfelt review, or offer a monetary contribution. Every act of support, big or small, makes a difference, and I'm truly thankful for you.